This video is brought to you by...
If you know, you know. Come shop with my man.
Come through, man.
He got socks, hats, shirts, hoodies, shorts. And he show love if you show love.
Man, you already know what it is, man. We coming straight out of Baltimore, man. We going worldwide, man. Cool green clothing, man. We on the block with it, man. 215 West Saratoga Street. Pull up on us, man. Sure enough, man.
Shout out to Tony 2 times, nigga, the Baltimore Way.
You already know, man. If you ain't cool and getting the grain, you're in the way. That's just basic.
You gotta get out the way. That's what he said.
Exactly, man.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. For most individuals, when we go outside or out in public and see other people, we don't pay attention or think nothing much of the person that's standing next to us. We don't know them, and most were raised not to judge people. For others though, they might be a little bit more standoffish. I'm sure we have all been out and peeped the person watching everybody and everything in the room. That's probably from whatever experiences they have been through in life to make them feel like they can't trust people. I often tell my daughters, now that they are getting older, never judge a book by its cover. You could see a dude with tattoos all over his face looking crazy and be scared to walk past him, when really he might be the nice guy. It's the person that's always happy, smiling, and talking you have to watch out for. Crazy doesn't always have a look or a color. You just gotta have situational awareness around others and make sure you pay attention to your surroundings. But for many, I'm sure we have all been fooled before. Rather rocked to sleep by decent conversation, a handshake and a smile, and think to ourselves, this is a cool person. But an individual with an evil motive would never walk up to you and tell you what type of time they are really on. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case on how a wolf in sheep's clothing terrorized the woman in Baltimore. For people not familiar with Baltimore and our culture, before Lyft and Uber, we had our own ride-share service. An individual who had a car could simply go outside, drive around, see a person with their hand out, you pull up to them, ask them where they going, y'all discuss a price, and they pay you. Those drivers are called hacks. It's all under the table, and the fee is usually paid in cash. So when back in 2019, 29-year-old Brandon Saunders decided to be a hack man, nobody thought nothing about it. Brandon was described as laid back, a kind of quiet man who usually kept a smile on his face. A little bit of a pass, a first-degree assault charge for putting hands on somebody in Pennsylvania, but nothing major. Being a hack man, he would ride through the city and pick up individuals who needed a ride. So in the early morning hours of July 28th, 2019, when he saw a young woman standing on a bus stop, he pulled up and asked if she needed to go somewhere. The woman, who we will call Brittany for the sake of the story, told him she was waiting for the bus and that she didn't have any money to pay for a hack. She stated she was going to her father's house. Brandon, seeming like the perfect gentleman, told her, "Don't worry about money, sweetheart. It's dark out here. I will take you for free. No charge." Brittany skeptical at first, but thinking the man seemed nice enough, she got in the car with Brandon. They started driving. Then she noticed him heading from the city, driving towards Baltimore County in the wrong direction from where she was going. She asked nervously, like, "Where we going?" Before the man's demeanor totally changed. He snapped, telling her to shut up. He pulled out a knife and smacked her. And then they pulled up to Lock Raven High School. He started taking advantage of the young lady. It was late, after 3 a.m. There wasn't no one around. Scared, she did what she was asked to do. Brandon made threats, telling her if she screamed out, he would take her life. After about an hour, he told her he was grabbing his gun from the trunk. Since she seemed uptight and didn't seem happy, he wanted her to smile. As he walked to the trunk, Brittany took advantage of the opportunity and fled on foot through some nearby woods, now around about 4:30 a.m. A person on their way to work saw the young lady walking up Interstate 695, looking scared, bleeding, and disheveled. She flagged them down for help, and they drove her to a hospital. When doctors asked the young lady what happened to her, she explained that she took a free ride from a man, and she stated he was a hack driver. She explained he took her to the school instead of her family's house and held her against her will. Baltimore County Police was notified. Brittany gave a description of the man and vehicle, and a DNA sample was taken from her to see if it was any matches in the database. Months would go by with no arrests though. In October of the same year, Brandon was out again, hacking, this time in a different car. When the young lady was out waiting on the bus stop, he pulled up with the same approach as before and asked her did she need a ride. He insisted it was cold outside and a storm was coming. He told her the ride to wherever she was going would be free. She too agreed and got in his car. And again, he drove in the opposite direction of where she was going. He pulled up to Clifton Park and upped the knife on the young lady. He also took advantage of her as well. Eventually, he took a break and she ran out in the street and flagged down the car. They called police, and the same as Brittany, she too gave them a description of the man who assaulted her and a description of the car he was in. They took a DNA sample from her as well and tested it and quickly realized it was a match for the same man who did that to Brittany earlier that year. Police put out a description of the man they were looking for and cars he had been driving and told other victims if they were out there to come forward. As time went by, Baltimore County started their investigation. They were able to get surveillance footage from the incident at the high school and get a tag number from the car, which came back registered to Brandon. A search of his cell phone records also placed him at the scene the time of the attack. He was picked up, taken into custody, and as his DNA came back a match, he was charged with 2 counts of the R-word, kidnapping, assault, and other charges as well. He was at first given a no bail, but after going in front of a Baltimore County judge, he was surprisingly given a $200,000 bond for his county charge and another $20,000 bond for his charge he had in the city. He made bail with no restrictions. The victims and community were outraged that a judge would give a predator a bail. But as another year went by, the case made its way to trial. A jury listened to the details of each encounter and the evidence against the man, including the kits done on the women and the DNA that came back a match to Brandon. He was eventually found guilty on all charges, sentenced to 40 years in prison. Fortunately for both women, they escaped with their lives, but I hope they can heal from that trauma. Brandon definitely was a wolf in sheep's clothing, the type of man who makes it hard for other men that would never do something like that. But unfortunately, people like this do exist. I have 2 daughters, and I can't lie. I'm mostly about peace, unless you bother my family. And if he did do something like that and made bail, I would probably have to go back to my old ways and masked up for bro. But depending what prison he is at, I'm sure once they hear his charges, his time will be miserable. He will be considered the lowest of the low in prison, the bottom of the food chain, which for a predator will definitely be a hard pill to swallow. But I'm gonna leave this one open for discussion. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts about the situation in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Messed up situation. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. I'm gonna leave it open to y'all. I definitely appreciate you if you made it to the end. Tap that like button if you're feeling the content. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. I'm out.